Hello, my friends. Welcome to Bend My Pleasure. My name is JC. Joining me today is my pixelated friend Dimitri.
It's probably not a real name.
And as you can see, his face, in order to protect his anonymity, has been pixelated and his voice has been modulated. We haven't decided whether or not I'm going to pitch you up or down. I should pitch you down high. No, I'll pitch you up.
No, you should definitely go down because I naturally have a deep voice, and at that point, I don't think it'll even register.
Yeah, but if I pitch it high, people will think, no, he doesn't really have a deep voice.
Oh,
We are broadcasting live from Max's Sports Grill. That is to say, we're recording this. You're seeing it live. We are here after work. We have a segment called Bend My Pleasure during the day when I get together with members of the food and beverage community in order to discuss issues relevant and pertinent to our day-to-day livelihood.
whatever that may be.
That's right. Today we are joined after a work shift by my guest, Dimitri.
It's true.
Dimitri, today, this episode, I would like to talk a little bit about allergies. We would like to discuss allergic reactions, people's allergies.
That's how.
You as a customer experience expert, if you will.
Okay.
Because you're in a formal dining setting at this time, is that correct?
Yes.
No,
We're
you're
casual.
dining,
Casual.
excuse me.
Casual dining setting. And you have done serving in the past. You are presently a manager of said establishment.
Is that correct?
Yes.
Very good. So you have to deal with not only your servers who may or may not get it right the first time,
True.
but routinely oversight on every table that has an allergic issue. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. I would like to get your opinions on how to better handle guests who have allergies that need to be addressed and how addressing those issues might adjust either the prep time for the food item and the flavor profile of any said item.
Okay. Well, let's go ahead and take that in pieces because that's a lot to be able to digest.
No pun intended.
So, first and foremost, if you are dealing with something where there is going to be a serious allergy that, as a guest, you would want to be able to monitor. First of all, keep in mind that whatever concept that you go to is going to have that kind of nutritional information pretty much at its fingertips in this day and age. So unless you're going to an independent restaurant in one form or another, not only should that information already be contained, it should be contained online. Given the advent of smartphones and everything else that has come on with technology, not only will they have a listing, but they'll probably have a listing on a website that will be incredibly easy to be able to access if you merely ask the question, hey, what's your website? Because of these particular things, anybody that comes in that's going to have a specific allergy that they need to worry about, the onus is going to have to be a little bit upon the guest for that. Whether it be anything from egg to dairy to fish, tree nut, gluten is a very big one these days.
Chicken, protein allergies.
They
exist.
The allergies exist and the lifestyle exists, whether they be vegan or vegetarian or what have you. All of these things are going to be controllables that will be able to be dealt with to a certain extent. One reality that everybody should know is that unless a restaurant or a concept actually is somebody who specifically caters to the idea of people who have a specific allergy or dietary thing that they are dealing with, there's not going to be a way of guaranteeing 100% that there isn't going to have been chicken in that fryer, fish in that fryer.
That's a big one I hear from gluten-free people all the time.
Yes. And that's one of the major struggles that everybody comes up with, is that we can do everything within our power to try and be able to do it, but the reality of the matter is that most kitchens are set up that have a very limited, not only labor that is going to be on, but a very limited amount of space that is involved in being able to prep and to do everything else. And most of the priorities for any restaurant is to try and make sure that food safety is going to be the first and foremost issue that is going to be dealt with. And because of that, they're going to worry about prep items being able to be contaminated by something that would be raw chicken or raw fish or raw meat or anything like that relative to ready-to-eat foods. So the reality is that if you have an allergy, it's kind of about you.
They can't see you,
Well,
your face when you're pixelated out.
I understand that, but it's
He's making this face.
you can tell from the voice, it's kind of about you.
Yeah, it kind of is.
Now, given the fact that we're both in the industry, and given the fact that we go through this on a day-to-day basis,
A shift
we'll
does
work
not go
with
by.
everybody that we can. There's nobody that is in the restaurant business that has a goal to make your life miserable.
We want
That
to
really
help you.
actually should be the first thing that everybody knows when they walk into any restaurant. There's nobody who says, you know what? My goal is to make at least 5 people miserable today, and I'm just going to see who they are. And they'll magically appear before me. All your servers make their living off of you being happy. There's no reason for them to try to not make you happy. But you have to be able to at least work with them, and I would say that it would behoove anybody who's coming in as a guest to, at minimum, realize that that is the relationship, and to probably not treat whoever is handling their food like dirt.
Yeah.
Which seems to be the case
Yeah.
judging by your smile, on multiple occasions.
I don't understand it. I mean, look, let me just be absolutely clear. Nobody is going to do anything to your food because you were, or because they felt that you were demeaning towards them or mistreated them.
Let me be more specific. I do believe that there are people out there who will, but I have never personally experienced it.
No, nor have I.
So for those of you that are incredibly paranoid, that's probably good because you're on your best behavior, but it isn't something that I've personally seen. But I do not doubt that that probably exists in one form or another. It just hasn't existed at any place that I've been at yet.
Okay. So in second part,
Unfortunately.
Flavor profile, regularly.
Well, flavor profile is a very tricky thing. And flavor profile in this case, I'm going to probably talk a little bit more from the concept of drinks than I would about food. I find that most people, whenever they decide that they're going to create, quote, their own menu on the food, they usually have a pretty good judgment of what their tastes are already for that food. There are some people that are very, we'll say plain Jane for lack of a better term. There are just specific things that they don't want to eat or that they really don't like eating, or maybe there actually is an allergy that is involved in it, that the flavor profile is going to not going to flip that hard as far as food goes, because most of the time people know what they're getting into with it.
The time to prepare might be a little different.
Yeah, well, absolutely. I mean, if you the more specific that your needs are, obviously, the more time somebody is going to have to take in order to be able to create that. So the idea of not being patient when you decide that you're going to special order seems a little bit silly, because no matter whether it be you're taking a couple items off or you're adding a couple items on, you have to realize that you're taking people out of what their pattern is to be able to create whatever the dish is.
a deviation from the norm.
Yes. And any time that there's a deviation in recipe, you're taking people out of what they specifically are trained to be able to make. That's automatically something that's going to take a little bit more time. So patience is a virtue when you have special needs. As far as drinks go, when we're talking about flavor profile, I know
profiles.
that my personal pet peeve when it comes to this is the person that decides that they need to change the way that something is done, and then when they change it, decide that they don't like the changes that were made because the drink is, quote, too sweet, too tart. My personal favorite is can't taste the booze in it.
That we could do an entire segment on people who say they can't, and that would be get it off my chest. People who say I cannot taste the alcohol.
Do you want to rant right now?
No,
is that your thing?
Not right now.
You're at the
I
point?
might do one in a
because I
moment.
can do this for you really quickly. Hey,
Let
let me go ahead and make this known to the world. If you want to taste the alcohol in a drink, get a shot of whiskey.
Yeah.
Okay.
You'll taste it.
Nobody
all right.
fails to taste the alcohol in a shot of whiskey or tequila. Okay. If you don't want to taste the alcohol and instead want something that is going to be sweet or flavorful or tart or perhaps chocolatey or creamy or whatever the drink may be, well, that's why there are so many mixologists out there that make a huge living at trying to be able to create recipes, because all they do is take their spare time to try and create the recipes so that people don't taste the alcohol in it, so that they'll drink more of it.
Yep. And on that note, I think we'll wrap up this segment. Thank you very much for that, Dimitri.
Yeah, absolutely.
My friends, my pixelated friend is Dimitri. If you'd like to see more like this episode, click on his pixelated face. If you enjoyed it, please give us a thumbs up. If you hated it, give us a thumbs down. Hopefully you learned something from it. If your emotions run a little bit deeper than that, feel free to leave a comment below. My name is JC.
And before you give the thumbs down, perhaps you should take that 2 shots of whiskey and rewatch it to see if we're right.
That's right. Have 2 shots of whiskey on me. My name is JC. It's been my pleasure.